to whom these rules apply, you have to have one of three different conditions occur. One, your average annual U.S. income tax over the last 5 years has to have been in excess of $146,000. Yes. Okay, so, yeah, the income tax, average income tax you have paid over the last 5 years has to have exceeded $146,000.
The tax or the taxable?
The tax, the tax, not the income.
That you pay.
That's right.
Average annual U.S. tax.
Tax has to have been in excess of $146,000 over that 5 years.
So you have to be a millionaire, basically.
$146,000.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because if your average annual income, U.S. income tax has not exceeded that amount over the last 5 years, you have to be worth more than $2 million. $2 million. Now, that, I find so often people say, oh, doesn't apply to me. No. Oh, really? Again, you own your home abroad? You have life insurance?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yeah, put it all together. Put it all together. One, that's a child. The
have a tax obligation there because we have inherited
no.
my German.
Oh, your German mother-in-law was not an American citizen. She didn't renounce American citizenship. No.
No. I'm talking about, hold on. I'm just talking about a tax obligation. If a German relative dies and I have inherited part of this as an American passport holder, I'm obliged to pay taxes on this.
Yeah, I don't know the rules for you, an American spouse of a German. He, since he inherited from his mother, had a 300. She left it to both of you?
Well, she left it to us.
Well, that's very unusual, and that's very nice. That reflects very nicely on you that your German mother-in-law left money to you. Because he, in inheriting it, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, had a 300,000 euro tax threshold in Germany.
Okay.
He could inherit from his mother 300,000 euros, totally tax-free. Now, your part of that, if you inherited part with him, I don't know. I don't know how the Germans treat that. Maybe they.
No, I was just saying, as my American taxes.
Yeah.
Am I obliged when I inherit something from a foreign source?
Yes.
Am I obliged to pay taxes on
No, you're not. You're not obliged to pay taxes on it. I think, though, depending upon the amount of that inheritance, again with a weak dollar, there is a declaration that American citizens are supposed to complete every time they receive a gift or inheritance from abroad. There's an IRS form in which you're supposed to apply. You're supposed to complete it, and it's supposed to be. Again, I didn't say that. I didn't say it, but that's part of it. If you receive over $200,000, patriot relinquishes U.S. citizenship before the age of 18 and a half. Okay, 18 and a half, and has been a U.S. resident for not more than 10 years. That's a negative way of putting it, but yeah, well, that's the bulletin, Lucy. I mean, that's where all right, so if you can say that my kid is less than 18 and a half years of age and has not lived in the United States for more than 10 years, bingo. They're covered expatriate, they've got the money, they've got the tax liability, whatever it may be, but they're an exception to the rules. They can renounce and it will not apply to them. All right? Second, another one, dual nationals. If the expatriate at birth, first, acquired both U.S. citizenship and the citizenship of another country, requirement number one, dual national. Two, that person continues to be a citizen of that other country. Three, that person is a resident of such country and has not been a U.S. resident, again, has not been a U.S. resident for more than 10 years out of the last 15 years. So, your case, you're dual national. You're a dual national from birth. No.
No.
Whomever. I don't care. Anyway.
Our children.
Okay, fine. Yeah, there we go. The kid,
that's such a
dual national, living in the country of his other nationality, her other nationality, okay, has not lived in the United States more out of 10 out of the last 15 years, bingo, they can renounce. And there's no age requirement on that. See, so that can go on forever.
I thought it had to be less than 18 and a half.
No,
That's
the
condition
first
one.
exception.
Yeah,
That's the first
condition
one.
one,
That
less than
was the first
18 and a half. Condition two, dual national, from birth, living in the country of your other nationality, not having lived in the United States for more than 10 out of the last 15 years.
They don't have to file any taxes at all then?
No, that's right, no taxes. Now, that's it, because I heard someone today at lunch say, oh, well, you give up your American citizenship, you got to file 10 years of U.S. taxes. Nope, no longer. No longer. You don't have to do that. Yeah, no, that was the rule, you know, for a long time under the prior law. But now they've changed it. It's an exit tax. You pay your way out of American citizenship. Yes, sir.
The dual children you're talking about, they don't have to pay any exit taxes.
Right.
But they still, if they don't renounce their citizenship, have to continue to pay American taxes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If it is the rules, and it seems to be the same rules that apply to determining the amount of the estate of an American citizen, the rules on estates say that if the American citizen is married to a non-American, all jointly held property is deemed to be in the estate of the American when he or she dies. So $2 million, you all may be, more of you worth $2 million bucks, you know, than you would stop to realize. And if you are worth more than $2 million, by the application of the American rules determining that, you're part of this program.
But only if you want to renounce your citizenship.
Pardon me?
Only if you're renouncing citizenship.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's it. I mean, it's only for this purpose, for the purposes of determining, are you a covered expatriate? Are you subject to these rules on renunciation? It's that.
So they want to make it more in your interest to pay the income tax than to renounce your citizenship.
They don't want you renouncing citizenship. But in a way, or they want you to pay if you do.
Yeah, exactly.
There's, of course, another angle to renouncing the citizenship. If you give your passport away, you're stateless. Now, in order to have another passport, you have to be able to get another passport. Like, for instance, I could easily